Hello, welcome back to Suburban Hunt 365. I am DJ. We are in the reloading room again today. And for those of you that have been following the channel pretty closely, I do apologize for not having a video out for you last week. It was a kid's spring break, and being a dad does come first. So for that, I do apologize, but we are back this week. And this week's video, we are looking, as promised, at the 300 grain, if I can get this to focus, 300 grain Thors, and these are the ballistic tips, if I can get that to zoom in right there. Alright, they're not the hollow points, but they are the ballistic tips, 300 grain Thors. So, what we're going to be looking at today, for those of you that have seen the videos, you already know what's coming, but for the rest of you, what we're doing is we're going to be running the pellet test. So, basically we have our 777s here. We're going to be running 100 and 150 grains, and then we have the Pyrodex, also 150. Then we got white hots. White hots are going to be the 100, 150. And then we're going to change it up a little bit with the FireStars. It's going to be 3 pellets and 4 pellets. Technically, 3 pellets is 100 grains, and the 4 pellets not so much because they are 33 grain pellets. And then for you guys, we also have the 777 Magnums, and we're all going to be running a 2 pellet load on those because that is the maximum according to 777 that we need to run. So the way we're going to run this is we're going to run 3 rounds, clean the bore, or excuse me, we're going to run 3 rounds. We're going to clean out the barrel, clean out the plug, and then we're going to go to the next round. We are using Federal 209A primers, guys. I apologize for the last couple of videos. I had neglected because we've done so many of these. You guys are definitely let me know in the comments, and I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that because those that are just now starting to watch these videos, that is very pertinent information. So I apologize for that as well. But we are using Federal 209A primers in this video, and pretty much any of my videos that I'll be doing going forward. But again, I do need to mention that in each and every video to make sure that those that are just joining us are aware. So without any further ado, guys, we also are shooting these at 100 yards. That's another thing that I failed to mention in a couple of videos. And again, y'all have asked me, so let me give you that. 3 rounds, clean the barrel, clean the plug, reset for the next one, running 209A primers, and we are shooting at 100 yards. So enough of me, John. Let's go ahead and let's start out with the 777 100 grains, 2 pellets. Alright, now a really bad way to start this out. So we got one high, one a little bit low, and one right up on that third one there. The interesting thing about that, though, is when you look at the velocities on this. So we kind of had a 1600, but then we had 2 1400s, but yet we still have a higher, lower, and then right back up there again. So it's kind of interesting how the Thors ran. Now this particular one ran at 3 1/8 of an inch, which, if I'm not mistaken, in our previous video, I believe it's either 3 1/8 or 3 3/8, one of the two. But we had multiple consecutive ones that are 3, and I believe it was 1/8, like this group here. If I'm wrong, I do apologize. I've been apologizing a lot in this video. I'm going to just name this one DJ's Apology. But anyway, guys, I digress. So 3 1/8 of an inch is what we're looking at here. So not a terrible baseline to start out with, but I have had better luck with the higher charges. So let's get into it. 777 150 grains. Alright, well, that one definitely didn't do as well. That one, because of that last one dropping down, actually came in at a 4-inch group. But then we look at the velocities. Now, unfortunately, I only got 2 velocities in this one. The reason is because on that second shot, it said that my sensor was too low and it didn't catch it. I made sure that the sensor was in the right spot. So I actually went ahead and changed out the battery on the Magneto V3 to make sure that the next shot was red. So with this one, we have a 4-inch group. So we got 19s. We missed that second one, so we don't really know where it was. And then we have a 1700 feet per second. So that could explain why it went a little bit low. So we don't have that one there to really see what happened with that middle shot. So next up is going to be our Pyrodex, which the last couple of videos has really done well. So Pyrodex, 100 grain. Alright, just like I mentioned before, Pyrodex has really stepped up its game. Now, I don't understand why earlier on it didn't do so well for me, but here as of late it has been doing absolutely phenomenal. That one comes in at 1.5 inches. And the crazy thing with that one is the first shot came in at 1700 feet per second, and then those other two came in at 1480, 1485. So it makes sense why those last two, you can see, are literally right on top of each other, which is what we've seen with that 5 feet per second difference. So let's go ahead and let's move up to the Pyrodex 150 grains, and let's see if we can bring that in a little more. Oh, alright, that one is reminiscent of the old school Pyrodex. That was a 1 1/4 of an inch, so 1 1/4 inch group out of the Pyrodex 150s. That's Thor's group so far today, which is interesting because the 100 grain gave us the best group of the day so far. So, yeah, you see the velocities there. We got 2 grand, then 1800s behind it, but it really didn't much matter because this one was this is a round group that is just not going to cut it. 4 1/4 inches. Yikes. Okay, so let's keep moving on. Next up, let's run the White Hots 2 pellets at 100 grains. Well, dadgummit, guys. So it happened again. I got the first shot down. The second shot said it was too far away, couldn't read it. And then the third shot was picked up. And as you can see from the group, those first 2 shots are pretty close to each other, and that bottom one was that third shot. Looking at the velocity, that first one was over 1600 feet per second. The second velocity, which is actually the third round, was 1300. So I attribute that to the fouling of the barrel. That's the only thing I can think of that would cause that to happen. But as you can see, that did drop down, where I'm pretty sure that those first 2 would be more comparable in velocity as well. So that overall group came in at 3 1/8, which is the same number we heard earlier, right? So first 2 were nice shots. The last one kind of dropped, giving it a 3 1/8 inch group. So let's go ahead and let's bump this bad boy up to White Hots 150 grains. Alright, there we go. That's a pretty good looking group right there, right? That is a 2-inch group out of the White Hot 150 grains. Now you can also look at those velocities right there at 1945, 1961, and 1952, and they're actually pretty close together, which leads us to believe that that's why our group looks the way it does. So White Hot 150 grains kind of sticking a pretty good group in there. It's not going to take the win today, but a 2-inch group is nothing to shake a stick at, guys. So White Hots 150 coming in strong. So let's move over to the 777s, which have not really done so well in all my testing. Let's go ahead and let's see what the 777s do. 3 pellets. Okay. 3 pellets of FireStars coming in for a pretty good group there. That one just slid right up underneath those White Hot 150s. That one came in a 1 7/8 of an inch group, so an 1/8 of an inch difference between those 2 groups there. Now you can tell by these velocities, the velocities are a little bit slower, but 1701, 1669, 1712, kind of similar velocities there a little bit, but a 2-inch group. And again, that is at 100 yards with the FireStars with the 3 pellets. So I'm curious now. Let's find out what the 4 pellets do. FireStars, 4 pellets. Hey, what do you know about that? FireStar 4 pellets coming in at a 1.5 inch group. That's going to tie them with the Pyrodex 100 grains that we had a little bit earlier with a 1.5 inch group. Now these velocities are a little bit faster than what we were getting out of the Pyrodex. So if I had to choose one, if I'm getting the accuracy out of it, I want it to go a little bit faster just because you got the terminal ballistics there, whether they do or don't open up. The faster, heavier bullets, in my opinion, tend to work better. So, again, I don't know anything about the ballistics to this one right now. We're just looking at accuracy. For those of you that are like, well, why don't you do a gel test? I wish I could. I don't have the range to do those tests right now. The range that I'm a part of, I can't take that kind of stuff out there and put it down range. It's members, but it is a public range. So really don't have the area to do that right now. So, but it doesn't matter. If I can't put it on target, the ballistics don't matter, right? So anyway, guys, that is a fantastic group out of the FireStar 4 pellets. Last but certainly not least, let's go ahead and let's see what the 777 Magnums do. Again, only a 2 pellet load, guys. Let's see what they do. Alright, well, there we go with that 3 3/8 1/8 thing again. This particular group came in at 3 3/8 of an inch. So not really awesome. Definitely not going to win today, but it's also not the worst group today either. So the 777 Magnums running about 1620, 1790, 1800. You know, in that kind of ballpark, which is also probably a little bit to do with where those landed, with those different velocities not being quite as consistent. Obviously, like I said, guys, I'm shooting 3, then I clean my barrel and I clean out the plug. The reason I do that is because when I'm in the stand, if I need to make a follow-up shot, I'm not going to clean out my barrel and try to make a follow-up shot or get a shot on another deer or whatever it is that I've got downrange. So I want to be able to simply just fire my gun, reload it, swap out the primers, and go again. Alright guys, so looking at this, this is now the 15th different projectile that we've tried and that we've recorded on this this chart here. So we look over here, this one came in 10th place out of the 15 that we've done, which is not awesome, but it's also not bad, and I'll explain why in a little bit later. So in 10th place, you're looking over here, we have the 777 grains, 3 1/8, the 150s, 4 inches, Pyrodex, 100, 1.5, which ties, if you jump over to the FireStar 4 pellets for the winner today. Then Pyrodex 150 is 4.5, or 4.25 rather. Then the White Hots 3 1/8, White Hots 150 is 2 inches. The 3 pellets of FireStar is 1 7/8, and then of course tied again, like I mentioned before, is the FireStar 4 pellets. Here at the end we have the 777 Magnum 2 pellets at 3 3/8 of an inch for a group size average of 2.75. So an average group size of 2 3/4 of an inch, which overall, guys, is not bad. If you can shoot that all the time and get a 2 3/4 inch group, that is a definite deer killer. That thing will harvest deer for you all day long. So that is the Thor 300 grain ballistic tips. Alright guys, if you guys have stuck with us this far, I greatly appreciate you sticking in there with us and giving us your time. So if you haven't already, please do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, which would be amazing. I really would appreciate you guys joining us on this journey. And then most importantly, hit the comments down below. Let me know what you think about this particular video. Let me know what you guys want to see in future videos. I have a list, guys. I have a list going on to make sure that I don't overlook somebody's request. But it takes a while to get to those requests because there are so many. So please put them down there. I do read all the comments, and I will put it on the list to get it done. So again, from Suburban Hunt 365, I am DJ.